Beyond the Paddle, powered by Best 4 nutritional supplements. Good, better, best for you and your family.
Well, everybody, a very warm good afternoon and welcome back once again to our online streaming show of Best 4 Beyond the Paddle. This is an opportunity for us to share on a global community. Remember, online is being streamed all over the world, and it became acutely obvious to us after the first one that there were people following us from all over the world. We had great feedback from Australia, from Spain, from the United States, from Canada, where some expat paddlers, but what we also worked out is that paddlers who perhaps don't have any roots in this country but have an appreciation for the unique paddling environment we have here were tuning into the show. So Best 4 Beyond the Paddle online. It's an opportunity for everybody to share and talk about the issues that are relevant to the world of paddling. And most importantly, as you would have realized from the very first opportunity, it's an interactive show. So if you'd like to talk to us, if you have something you'd like to raise, or more importantly, if you have a question you'd like to ask of the studio guests, there are a whole bunch of ways you could do it. You can use Twitter, where you can find us on Beyond the Paddle. Simply use @BeyondThePaddle and we'll be able to track your questions. If you'd like to send a question by email, you can go to the website, which is www.beyondthepaddle.co.za. There's a very big icon there saying have your say. You can post your question. It'll come through to us on the iPad in the studio, and I'll be happy to relay that to our guest. The third way you can pose a question or any comment that you'd like us to raise in the hour of the show is simply to use the Facebook page, which is Best 4 Beyond the Paddle. Find it on Facebook, like it. That way you'll stay in touch with all the information that we'll be sending out, and you can use that as a way to send us all your information. First up, it's a great pleasure to welcome my studio guest, up from Joburg on business, Hank Mcgregor. Thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. This is like down season for you, isn't it?
Oh yes, thanks Dave. Thanks for having me. Here at the moment, it's sort of my off time. After Unkuma's marathon, I took a break, and now I'm getting ready to get ready with surski paddling. I'll leave next week to go to Spain.
You don't have much of an off season. I mean, there've been some years where you've pushed straight on through.
Oh look, sometimes I've just gone right through race after race, different disciplines. That's what happens, you know. My calendar it's full. Flat water marathon to surski to river racing. Yeah?
Well, it's one of the issues we're going to talk about, because Doozy this year said in fairly clear terms that somebody who specializes in that race and makes it the focus of their attention for 6 months is capable of dominating. You do the opposite. In fact, forgive me for this, you're a freak, because you can dominate in just about any discipline you want. Have you ever gone bang? You've gone through years where you've gone 12, 16 months without a break. Have you ever hit the wall when your body has said, kanimiri?
Oh no, definitely. At one stage I had really bad blood poisoning, and it was all, my immune system was absolutely zero. So I think it does pay the price by going 12 months right through non-stop race after race, especially in our country with the ultra distance races as well. It's even more taxing on your body. So I think, yeah, look, I have had that down period where I just feel like I'm going nowhere and I'm just struggling. But yeah, I think as I'm getting older, I'm getting wiser, and I'm sort of picking my races a little bit more wisely. Yeah?
The people you whip on a regular basis are looking at your age saying, surely he can't keep going.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, the guys that I train with, sometimes I'm the oldest guy in the group. So yeah, look, I'm sure they're hungry to take me down, and I'm still here. I'm still fighting.
The reality is, in marathon racing, you tend to be in your prime in your 30s anyhow, and that's been shown historically with all the great paddlers.
Yeah, look, some guys have come, like Sean Rubenstein won gold 2006. He was a youngster, 22, when he won the World Marathon Champs. Ben Brown, 2 years ago, he won it. So I think you get those guys that can actually win a world title at a young age, but maybe they're just in the right frame of mind at the right time. And you know, but I think as you get older, I think it's a lot to do with experience. Yeah. Really, you put it down to experience and knowing how to train and knowing what your body's capable of, and getting yourself ready for a major race.
Okay, if you have a question for Hank Mcgregor, remember you can send it to us using that Twitter address @BeyondThePaddle, or send it via Facebook, Best 4 Beyond the Paddle, or simply go to the website www.beyondthepaddle.co.za. The show proudly brought to you in conjunction with Best for Beyond the Paddle, the show on Supersport. The two shows you'll see are very different in content. We have the latitude to talk and interact, and the show which premieres next week, Wednesday on Supersport 6 at 8 o'clock, will have a lot of content that we'll tell you more about a little bit later in the show. But suffice it to say, Hank, you talked about your immune system. The product that Best 4 are pushing into the marketplace are going to be looking after needs specifically like yours. And having just got engaged, by the way, from the paddling community, congratulations. It's possibly, don't take this the wrong way, but the most overdue decision in a long time. You kept Pippo waiting a long time.
No, for sure. She's hung on the long way for a long time and couldn't shake off. And I eventually got cramp and went down on her knee, and I did the deed, and now it's big excitement and a lot of planning ahead, and we'll be looking for wedding venues all around the country and overseas. So at the moment it's very exciting.
That's not what you were thinking about a year ago, was it? Wedding venues and...
No, truthfully, this last month it's been totally different. You know, like the topics normally were about paddling and racing. Now it's about maybe we should look at this venue. We went wedding hunting, venue hunting this last weekend. Normally I'd be going for a different type of training session, but yeah, look, it's exciting, and like I say, I'm growing up and moving on to the next level.
Was it the most nerve-wracking thing you've ever done, having shot some horrendous rapids and beaten the world's best?
Definitely, yeah. I think when I knew what I was doing, and I knew, like, okay, this is the time, and we were walking on the beach, and my heart rate was through the roof, and you know, like, and I thought, okay, right, it's got to happen now, and I was nervous. Like, you know, when I actually went down on the one knee, I got a lump in my throat, and I was battling to say the words, but eventually it all came out right. So. And
you had to resort to writing just in case the words didn't.
Yeah, no, I wrote it on the beach prior to the time, so she came across the question, and she was like, you know. And I was already, when she turned around, I was on my one knee. So, yeah, it was fantastic. It will be something I remember for a long time. Eh?
Well, it's the start of a great rock and roll adventure. While we're talking about Best 4, just remember, let's face it, no one's ever satisfied with mediocrity, underachieving, or being second best. That's why Best 4 has developed a superior quality nutritional supplement range that helps you achieve optimal health so you can perform at your peak and do whatever it is that you do best. Best 4's omega-3 supplement range, which is 100% derived from krill oil, is available for both adults and baby development in expectant mums. The Best 4 allergy prevention range has been specifically formulated for the needs of children as well as adults, and it's now available at Dis-Chem and other leading pharmacies. Best 4 nutritional supplements are good, better, best for you and every member of your family. Infections are something that paddlers deal with the whole time. Traveling abroad, the big risk you run is picking up an infection, so this should almost become a standard part of your armory.
Oh no, for sure. Look, Best 4 products is, like I say, with the whole thing that with elite team and everything, it's the best you can get. So, you know, you got to keep your immune system. That's like our biggest fear, is getting sick. And yeah, keep yourself pumped up before a race, especially in a lot of our rivers. They're not exactly clean some of the time. So keep your immune system pumped up, and I reckon you can't go wrong with Best 4.
Okay, Hank, I'm sure you relive Singapore, October 2011 in your head almost on a daily basis.
Not always, because then I get tired. But it's definitely sometimes when I'm training and I'm feeling tired or I'm struggling in a session, I always remember how I was feeling in that race, and you know, you suddenly realize what you're actually training for and that goal and that feeling of winning. So I think that always drives me to train a little bit harder and remember where I've come from.
A question has come in from a listener straight away, or a viewer straight away. Was this any better than your previous World Marathon Champs win, which was 2003, I think?
Yeah, look, definitely. I think this win was a lot better, just because at 2003 it ended up with a bit of controversy at the finish. Yeah, look, I felt like I always had something to prove and to show the world that I deserve a world title. And for those people that were skeptics saying, you know, like sometimes, oh, that was a fluke or it's a once-off, you know, to come back. And Singapore was one of those times where we had so many world champions on the start line. Even from South Africa, Sean Rubenstein was there, and you know, you had 10 times Emmanuel Busto from Spain, world champion. We even had Olympic champions, medalists. They were in there, so that's just even some extra firepower to name for the race. So yeah, I knew it was always going to be a big task, and I always said to myself, like, if you're going to do it, this one's going to be the one to win, you know. And I think it was level playing field for all of us that were racing, just because we all had to travel, you know,
Yeah.
which is a big thing, you know. Time traveling, it plays a big role in events, you know, and you know, you feel fatigued at the same time when you travel, but also, like, for the Europeans, it was one of the few times that they've traveled
Yeah.
out of Europe to race, you know. So I think it was an even plate for everyone, you know, and I just felt that if I was going to win one, this is the one to win.
What's your relationship with Manuel Busto like? Because I'm taking you back to 2003. You beat him on home soil then,
Yeah.
or on home water, but it wasn't the way I know you wanted to win it, because it landed up going to a protest.
Yeah.
The crowd wasn't that happy about their man, got
Yeah.
derailed. And I know for a long time he didn't want to have anything to do with South Africans. Have you got a decent working relationship with him?
Yeah, look, I've raced Manuel a few times since then, you know, and you know, especially he's taken up surski paddling,
Okay.
as and he's taken up pretty seriously, you know, like he should. I mean, 10 times world champion, it's not a fluke. So yeah, look, I think we both know what we're capable of, and we always know it's going to be a tough race, and he is just one of those tough athletes that just will never give up, you know. So when you know to beat him, you're going to have to be on your best day. And yeah, look, it's when I crossed the finish line, and he was one of the few guys that did pull out. When I actually finished, he came up to me and he said, "You're a machine." You know, I think it's fantastic. Congratulations. And for me, that made it ever so much sweeter. You know, to have somebody with his pedigree congratulating me, that was fantastic. You know, just giving me credibility for what I'd done. You know,
It must have meant a lot.
it sure did. You know, to have the Ben Browns, previous world champion, he didn't get the result he wanted to. He had already been there for like a couple of weeks already, preparing for the race, acclimatizing to the heat. So I mean, he's a professional, and he was going to defend his world title. So, you know, to beat all of those guys in the same race, and the way I did it, I think it definitely changed marathon racing, I think. But at the same time, I put my name out there and said, you know, like, I deserve this one.
Yeah. Well, if you want to find out more about that incredible day in Singapore, Hank tells the entire story of how it happened, all the incidents, all the decisions, that infamous moment where he decided to stop paddling and wait for 45 seconds, with your dad's voice, I'm sure, ringing in your ears. Keep an eye on the Beyond the Paddle website, because there's a special 15-minute clip where Hank talks us through, with some of the images that we played in this show last month, describing what happened in Singapore. The boat you brought back from Singapore, there was a deal with that. I mean, a lot of people would have said just leave the boat over there, but that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, actually, prior to the time of racing in the World Championships, I spoke to Ken Holden and Rick Wooden from Kayak Centre, and I said, I'm sure you guys can make a boat good enough to race on the World Championship, you know. And they said, well, if you'll race it and you'll back us, we'll back you, you know. So it was a learning curve for them, and we came up with a boat that I helped design as well, especially for marathon racing and for South African river racing, you know, with the shape, the design itself. And I said to them, look, when the boat eventually was made, and I saw it, and I picked it up, and the weight was just incredible.
Yeah.
7.3 kilograms finished. And it has to weigh 8 kgs, but to get a boat underweight is always hard for South Africans manufacturers. And we got it out at 7.3, and I said to them when I picked it up, I said, if I win a World Championships in this boat, I said, it's not for sale. It comes home with me, and it will never get paddled again. And they said, fine, it's on you. That's the call. So they held their word, and I held mine. So the boat's at Kayak Centre. It's hanging up there. So if anybody wants to go and look at it, you can see it. You can touch it. You can see exactly what the boat that won a world title, that actually caused how would you say? I don't know. It was something different, that boat, you know.
Now, that boat really rocked the boat, if you can excuse the pun, because now people are saying, "Oh, somebody's won a world title with an overstern runner." There were people huddled around the boat afterwards saying, "How's that possible?"
Yeah, look, I actually. Pippa will back me up on this one. In 2007, I came back from the World Championships in Hungary, and it flooded. They changed the finishing. The podium at the finish actually got moved 3 times because the water rose 9 meters, and it was scary, you know. And with that came debris and everything that was floating anywhere near the side of the banks or whatever. So that all came down. So I ended up paddling like a sprint type boat, and it just caught everything. You know, the rudder, it wasn't designed. It was designed for pure flat water paddling, no turbulence. It ended up we had no portages because there was no land to portage on other than if we went into the main road. You know,
Yeah.
so it was scary. You know, and I just caught up with a whole lot of debris. And after like 2 laps of the racing, I just got so frustrated. I pulled out. You know, and I said I'll save myself for the K2 race the following day. And I said the next time I come back, I'll come back with a boat that I'll race that is meant for me, you know, which had pedals and a tail rudder, for that you can use. If you can use it down our doozies, I'm sure you can use it on a flat water marathon course.
So we kind of undersympathetic to people who take an understern rudder boat to a marathon champs and then complain when they land up with rudder problems.
Well, look, there's you know, you put a lot of time and effort into it. Anyone that's rocked up at a world championships, you're the best in your country. That's why you're racing the world championships. You're only allowed 2 people from each country to race, and you know, if you're going to put that much of time and effort into it, then you got to eliminate all those factors that could cost you a race. And if you've seen in the past, even that year that Anstott and Cam Schoeman won, the favourites to win it was Emilio Merchant
Yep.
from Spain, and they dropped the boat on I think it was like 2 portages to go or something like that, and snapped the rudder clean off. And it so happened that he damaged the rudder again last year in Singapore, that he had to pull out. And I just think, you know, if you're going to invest in so much time and effort into your body and yourself and your people, your friends, your family, and everyone around you, then you might as well have, how would you say, the safest possible race and the least amount of things that can go wrong. So prepare yourself. I'm not saying that you can't do it. I mean, they've won every other world championship's been with an understern, but it just eliminates that factor that something could go wrong. You know, so I just took that chance and I said, you know what? At the end of the day, if I'm going to lose, it's going to be because of me. It's not going to be because of the boat.
Yeah. Hank, a question from Tony. Hank, is there any race that you want to win that you haven't won yet?
I had a race. There was the Dubai Shamal that I'd been to for 5 years, and I'd come second. I'd broken a rudder. I just had, I don't know, it just never clicked it right. And that was one of the few races that I really wanted to win. It just so happened that Dubai ran out of a bit of money last year, and that race has sort of been cancelled or postponed until another time. So that was the one race. But I think every race that I haven't won that I've been to, I would say that's the next one I'd like to win. But in South Africa, I think it's just the races that are existing at the moment, the Doozy, the Berg. I think those are the iconic races in South Africa, and I think every year, when you line up fresh, there's new guys to challenge. I think those are the races that I'd still like to win. So, but yeah, I think it's every race that I haven't won that I would like to.
Let's scare the Cape guys. Are you back for a Berg?
I'm back for a Berg, and I'm coming back with a few other Italians horsepower to back me up for a change.
News from the Cape is that the Berg now doesn't have a sponsor, so it's heading into a different zone. That 50th Berg was an incredible event, right down to the uncontrollable things like the weather and the water.
Yeah.
So we're heading into the next 50 years, and it's going to be different.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think last year's Berg, like I said at the prize giving when I had to do that final speech, it conned us. It conned everyone that competed in it, because the sponsors were the best. The weather was absolutely fantastic, and the water was fantastic. You know, now that they've got that new dam, that from Franschhoek that supports the Berg, I think gone are the days where it's super low bergs or anything like that. I think yeah, it's a fantastic race, and it's you don't. I still paddling the boat that I actually raced in is my training boat, because it doesn't have any scratches on it, and my paddles are. It's just one of those races where you can go there and you can see the wine farms, and you can finish probably one of the toughest races on the planet, and still have a glass of wine every night. And I think last year was just a special year, and all the previous winners were there pretty much, and it was one of those ones that I wanted to win, and I managed to bring back the title.
Well, one of the boats that Hank paddles that has got scratches on, and got lots of scratches on, is the boat that he and Grant van der Walt used to win the Still Umkomaas Marathon. Now, it's normally the high point of the big water season. It comes at a stage in the year where it's been carefully positioned to take optimal use of the rainfall, because you're looking for a big umko. People would love to measure an umko by 1.8 to 2.4 meters at the start of the Hela Hela Gorge. When they got to the start of the Hela Hela Gorge, it was running at 1.1, I think.
She's a low 1.1, 1.2.
1.2,
Yeah.
which is a very different sort of umko, eh? It's not one of those strap your seatbelts, this is going to be a bumpy ride.
No, it's one of those ones where you can hit a lot of rocks.
Yeah.
You know, and you better be prepared for it. And hopefully your boats are strong enough. And a lot of people, when they see something like that, they maybe tend to go towards an old boat.
Yeah.
But with an old boat comes, it's brittle and has been repaired probably by you. So it's not necessarily bulletproof. And when it's like that, it's still one of the steepest gradient rapids and races in the country.
Yeah.
So when you do hit anything, you hit it hard.
Well, let's have a look at some of the visuals from this year's UMCA. It includes you guys going down UMCA number 1, where I must admit a lot of guys bumped a lot of rocks going down number 1. So we'll have a look at some of the visuals of your UMCA this year, and you can talk us through it. Grant van der Walt sitting in the back. Is he a good backseat driver, or does he remain quiet? Does he give you tips?
No, he gives me tips, but
you ignore them.
No, I take his advice. He's better down a river than me.
And you land up driving the boat, which is odd.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm lighter than Grant now, so we're trying to keep the weight, the nose up. You know, if it was the other way around, I think we'd be nose down.
Has Grant found the fridge since he moved to Durban? Or?
No, I've just lost weight. That's all. So